economic narrative, right? It's a story or a collection of different stories. And so it'll last as long as people believe in it. But as we know, as storytellers, just because it's a story doesn't mean it's true.
So, Ben, you and Bill really need to learn the difference between Bitcoin and crypto.
So people will continue to do it. I mean, what's interesting about the market is that, of course, as you see with FTX, this stuff is really run through overseas shell corporations. So, you can put your money in. It's the getting it out part that's the hard part. So,
with Bitcoin, you can actually have property rights. You can self-custody your Bitcoin. You don't have to trust anybody to hold your Bitcoin for you.
You can look at the numbers on the screen and they can tell you, whatever it is. But unless you're using a US-based exchange, I would be very careful.
What do you mean? You can't just take it out like you do from a bank?
These exchanges shut down all the time.
So, Bill Maher, with Bitcoin, you can be your own bank.
Binance, the biggest exchange. My colleague Jacob and I wrote an article about Binance.
And that's what FTX was. That's the Sam Bankman-Fried one, the guy.
FTX was
right.
Headquartered in the Bahamas. Yep.
And an exchange. It's so interesting.
So there have been tens of thousands of, quote, crypto scams. Stay away from those. Just buy and hold Bitcoin. You don't have to get involved in all that foolishness.
Crypto started so that we could get rid of banking, right?
Right.
But isn't these exchanges really what a bank is? It's someplace you're parking your crypto money, wink, wink, money,
money,
so that...
Bitcoin was started so that we would have a money that cannot be debased. Okay, learn about the debasement of the U.S. dollar, and maybe you'll have a clue as to why Bitcoin exists.
We got to talk about the money thing, because that drives me crazy. They're not currencies. They are not currencies. Words have meaning. You know this. Currencies in economics, they do three things. They're a medium of exchange. You can buy shit with them. They are a unit of account. You can run your books with them. And they're a store of value. Their value stays relatively consistent over time. Cryptocurrencies cannot do any of the three well, and they have no hope of ever doing so for reasons I outline in the book.
So you're right. Crypto cannot do these things. They're scams. But Bitcoin is the hardest form of money humankind has ever known. You need to learn a little bit about Bitcoin.
So what are they? They're investments. You put real money into them. You try to make real money out of them. That's an investment contract. That's a security. We've had securities, federal securities laws in this country since the 1930s, because in the 1920s we didn't.
So you are correct. The crypto scams are unregistered securities, unlicensed securities, whatever term you want to make. Bitcoin is not. Bitcoin is a commodity. It is not a security. So huge difference between crypto scams and Bitcoin. Only buy and hold Bitcoin.
And there was this massive bull rush, right? A crash of 1929 that led to the Depression. And we realized, oh, shit, we need some laws about this.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So we're revisiting this from like
as long as it's
crazy. It's nuts.
You're preaching to the choir, Ben.
No, I know, but
as long as you have to use this exchange and it is a bank, wouldn't it be better to have the kind of banking, flawed as they are, that we have, that when there was a problem, like in 2008 or 1932, yes, shit hit the fan, but not completely.
Right.
People were protected. We have a government behind it. Because I heard one of the big arguments I hear from the crypto people is like, well, real money isn't real either. It's not like they have the $31 trillion or whatever we supposedly have sitting in the bank. We just take it on faith.
Right.
If we ask for that money, it's there, but it's not really all there.
Way to go, genius. They
that?
figured it out. Yeah, they figured it out. Money is trust. We made money up. It's not real. Money evolves over time. Different civilizations use different things to what is money? Money is basically an elaborate system of IOUs. Right? I give you this piece of paper that has green markings on it, right? And you can take that and then you can buy whatever you need, right? So crypto says they want to create a trustless money.
Okay, so you can't trust crypto. They come and go, okay? Bitcoin is here to stay. And with Bitcoin, you don't have to worry about a rug pull. You don't have to worry about the bank saying they don't have your money, because you're going to have custody of your own money if you take custody of your Bitcoin. These things are not an issue with Bitcoin, folks. You all need to learn a little bit. Educate yourself. Go to CraigShipp.com/Bitcoin.
Well, if money is trust, you're speaking nonsense. It's like saying you want to create a governmentless government or a religionless religion. The words you're searching for are anarchy and cult. These are not currencies. They are securities. It drives me absolutely crazy. So what crypto did, ironically, it was birthed in the wake of the financial crisis, right? The Bitcoin white paper came out in October of 2008. It recreated the subprime crisis.
Ben, you keep conflating Bitcoin with crypto. They are not the same. You really need to educate yourself. You're on the wrong side of history here, guy.
And then it collapsed because they did all the same thing. It was shadow banking. It was, these complex derivatives, all this stuff.
But since it's not going away and people are putting more and more money into it, does it have the capacity to bring down the economy someday the way the economy was not brought down in 2008 because we did have governments and banks, which they are bypassing with crypto. That's the whole point, is we need to bypass, which, as Paul Krugman said, it's unclear why anyone but a criminal would want to do this.
So, Bill Maher, it's called freedom, okay? We want to have money that we can freely exchange, that the government does not have control over, especially with central bank digital currencies looming. We don't want the government to control every purchase we make. So, yeah, it's called freedom, okay? A lot of folks that founded the United States of America died for that. So I think it's a pretty important concept.
Yeah, criminals and gamblers. It's gambling. I mean, economically speaking, these are zero-sum games. You may notice something about cryptocurrencies. They don't do anything.
Again, Ben, we need to differentiate between crypto and Bitcoin. Bitcoin does a lot. Folks use Bitcoin all the time to make cross-border payments. I pay independent contractors that work for me in Bitcoin. They love it. It's instant. I use the Lightning Network, works great. A lot of folks are using Bitcoin for payments. So this network is extremely valuable. And by the way, you guys do talk later on, I'm not including it in this video, about the energy use of Bitcoin. Yes, hard energy is used to secure the Bitcoin network. And I can't think of any better use case for energy than to have sound money that anyone in the globe can participate in, the unbanked billions of people that to date have had no banking access. Now all of a sudden with Bitcoin, they have access. I think it's a beautiful thing. You should learn a little bit about Bitcoin.
They're weird securities, right? Usually a security is like a share of a stock. Well, there's no product, there's no good, there's no service. So zero-sum games are strictly competitive. For someone to win, someone else has to lose. It's like playing poker in Vegas. We could sit around a table, you might win a hand, I might win a hand. But we didn't create value, we didn't put capital to productive use, right? And by the way, the casino every hand, there's the rake. They're taking a cut every time. So if you play long enough in Vegas, you're losing. Like, that's how they keep the lights on in the casino.
Would you describe it as a Ponzi scheme?
Yes, it's a Ponzi scheme.
Once again, Ben, you need to learn the difference between crypto and Bitcoin. Yes, most of the crypto scams could be described as Ponzi's because people do a pre-mine and they benefit from other people coming in and so forth. That's not Bitcoin. That's not how Bitcoin came about. So, yeah, look at the definition. You said words have meanings. Look up the definition of Ponzi and see if it does apply to Bitcoin. I think you'll find it does not. So, again, you just need to educate yourself a little bit. Take some time, Ben, and learn a little bit about Bitcoin before you go on public record like this. It's just not looking good for you.
But Ponzi schemes always do collapse.
Yes.
And this will too?
I understand the argument that it hasn't collapsed, but the numbers in crypto are not real. 1 million people lost access to their accounts at FTX. 1.2 million Americans
lost access.
They can't get their money out.
Okay, so I'm going to end it there again. Crypto, FTX has nothing to do with Bitcoin. FTX was a scam, okay? You really should know the difference between the two. And lumping them together just to get clicks and to sell a book is kind of dishonest, okay? If you want to write a book about the corruption in crypto, have at it. You should. There's all kinds of corruption in the crypto space, but not Bitcoin. Bitcoin doesn't have anything to do with that. Bitcoin could care less about your book, about crypto, about any of these things. TikTok next block. Every 10 minutes, it's a new block of transactions, regardless of what you say, regardless of what I say. That's the beauty of it. It's not influenced by mankind. It does its thing according to math and rules and physics, okay? That is the beauty of it. It cannot be corrupted. You should learn about Bitcoin. It's a beautiful thing.